making my leash a little bit longer. My name is Renee, and I did not come prepared to speak, but I see a sign that says, "Silence is complicity," and I will not be complicit. So I want to echo a few things that people have said through a slightly different lens. And I want people to sit really deep in their imagination and their creativity and in your openness to hear some things that may be very difficult. It's very difficult. We're in very difficult times. I want to echo the several people who said we have no choice. So what I do when I'm angry and frightened and fearful for my increasing number of grandchildren, both about the political situation and the ecological situation that we're in, I either sing or read or I immerse in natural spaces. And I want to talk about a few things that I've read recently. And sometimes books fall off the shelf. I think this is a gift. I think I have someone on the other side who pushes them off the bookshelf at me and says, "You need to read this now." And about a little while ago, a book about Walt Disney popped off the shelf, and I said, "What? All right." Walt Disney, it's in the library. I read library books. Walt Disney's name is known. The person who wrote the book did a complete psychological evaluation of his animation. Walt Disney was brilliant, creative, and he also was a manic depressive. He produced propaganda in the lead up to the war in Germany. He had political beliefs, and without going into all of the details, all of the things that people who have mentioned World War II and Hitler and the rise to fascism, well, this wonderful man who we know as the genius of animation of our favorite children's films, he also was the person who linked consumerist sales of all kinds of products to films. And so I would not have known most of these things had I not read that one particular book, and I would not have personally selected that book, except for this particular situation. And so I'm asking us to challenge what we think we know about the world that we live in and the politics around us. So back in about 98, 99, 2000, I was employed as an editor and research assistant for a scholar of mass communication. Just something that came my way when I needed good paying work while I was raising my many children. And to keep it brief, I want to talk about the rise of Nazi Germany and about how it happens. There's a science of human psychology, and that forms the communications field in academia. One side of the communications field is journalism, and the other side of the communications field is public relations. Hitler rose to power through numerous things, but especially because he had very highly skilled people who understood enough about human psychology. One name we know is Joseph Goebbels. And then he had masterminded people who did political manipulations. And so there was the burning of the Reichstag, and there was all kinds of pressure that polarized, that in the media, in the radio media, in the print media, there were certain things that we read.
Don't cut me off this time, Joseph.
Joseph cuts me off a lot. I'm not going to give the mic until I say what I want to say. I will not be complicit. So, when we read our newspapers and when we listen to radio stations that we want to believe, we need to understand that 90% of our media is controlled by the corporate global elite. Think about that. They are highly skilled. I want to address a different elephant in the room. I heard someone talk about Trump specifically and elections specifically, and another person mentioned their grief and their dismay at the polarizing of our politics between Republicans and Democrats.
There are 6 people behind you.
So I'm feeling really pressured to yield the mic. I'm seeing no's from people on the step. I've been silenced on these 2 issues continuously. I am not a terse speaker. For that, I will apologize. If somebody told you Donald Trump did not win the election, we would have a big political debate. If you do some exploration into electoral integrity, you will find, in addition to suppression, the reversal of voter ID laws, and any number of other tactics and strategies like gerrymandering, anywhere that uses an electronic voting machine, and this has nothing to do with Russians, the outcome of that election can be managed by the software digitally. As long as private corporations own the voting machines with proprietary software, we have no control over the outcome.
Hear, hear.
It is relevant to what's going on. And I don't want to get into Democrat, Republican, or whatever. That's a problem. There are election integrity experts that have a lot to say about voting reform. This is not the place, but I'm asking you, if you in your community in Vermont use an electronic scanner, get rid of it. Because I will not believe the total outcome of Vermont's elections. We think we're exceptional. I'm saying we're not. Now I want to go back to, if anybody saw A Woman in Gold, which is a lovely film that got 0 nominations for Academy Awards, it's because it was so brilliantly done. The plot is about recovering a portrait, The Woman in Gold. But the underpinning of the story shows I would mind cutting it off now, but I'll cut it as short as I can.
Please, we have 6 people here and somebody just did some fundraising.
I will ask the group. Okay.